The recommendation from the task force was that the crowd control response of security personnel by resorting to firing of live arms and also directing fire at the escaping crowd is not acceptable. The victims of the gunshots have suffered injuries that cause them pain, loss of resources for treatment, as well as income. Families have also lost breadwinners. The state should take steps to the state should take up the responsibility to compensate the families who lost their breadwinners, as well as those who suffered injuries. Police should receive orientation and desist from using lethal force in crowd control situations. Appropriate crowd control gear should be provided to security services. Party executives, officials, and persons involved in election management should be well educated on the provision of the Anti-Vigilante Act, 2019 Act 999. Action taken so far on the Techiman. The report has been forwarded to the Attorney General for the compensation to be given to the families of the deceased and the injured. Docket of the case is also referred to the cold case unit of the CID police, meaning that the investigation will continue further until we are able to find the actual perpetrators.
Ebusia Fanuntin Semwe, an Interior Minister, Ayon Monya for Muntaka, what they abetu Jayen so Yedibi Ababe someone. Now, sign editor, watch him say, a year 2020, about why a 2 year or my Ghana, any 2024, there 2 year no, womo enya, a year 12 cases, I and no womo trim say, womo and almost share my violence, Michelle Basbasaye, it's me a see a abato no, I say no much say, what abato and Munipa bears a 15, and our motuan and Ewan said that a mu bears a 40, a 9. And so a paper ye papa womo HS sesiade e yade a womo sa aso cases be se e ye dumienu emu a eno womo be hwe amambra no eni womo edi no senia ese fata e wo my Ghana ha.
Thank the team, a 30-member team from the CID department that has been working tirelessly to ensure that justice is served. So without further time, I'll just go ahead. So Government Communication Minister, the Deputy Minister for Interior, the Acting Chief Director, Minister of Interior, the Inspector General of Police, representatives, members of PUMAG, directors from the Interior Ministry and the Information Service Department, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of us once again. It gives me a great sense of duty to present to you all the outcomes of the report on the 2020 and 2024 election violence which occurred across various centers in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, elections in Ghana in recent times have been characterized by violence in various forms. In 2020 and 2024 general elections, we recorded some isolated incidents such as violence resulting in loss of lives. To address this recurrent and bring justice to the victims, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, directed the formation of a special investigative task force to re-examine cases of electoral violence fatalities, identify the causes, hold perpetrators accountable, and propose measures to prevent further occurrence. On January 16, 2025, the Inspector General of Police inaugurated a special task force within the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, of the Ghana Police Service. The mandate of the task force was to collaborate with the stakeholders to identify, review, and investigate all electoral violence cases that resulted in fatalities during the 2020 and 2024 general election. The Special Investigation Task Force identified 12 cases that took place during the 2020 and 2024 general election. These cases had resulted in 15 deaths across the country, and well over 40 individuals got injured. The report outlined detailed account of all the 12 cases recorded during the period. The detailed report, which has been submitted to His Excellency the President, also contains the various incidents, how they were brought or got to the notice of the police, and actions taken by investigators in line with the laid down investigation protocol and procedure. The report further detailed action taken when the Special Investigative Task Force took over the cases at level initially investigators had reached and detailed findings derived from further interviews, interrogations, field visits, reconstruction of crime and crime scene, and forensic analysis of various materials of evidence retrieved during the investigation. Every violent incident recorded during the general election presents various criminal offenses.
Ebusiafo no nti Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak wono anodin semwe abetuja wosan editudwa bi ma wo chem se wo abato ni mukopie mu ewa yawa so was dogona eno so violent bi etimi esi wo ho a eno so sesi a wo hwe se wo de report no ebetimi ebepie mu ewa na kache na wo mahwe na wo maso sa ensem na no wono ana osan edin semwe etudwa no peyen so yedi bi esomo.
There were also instances of persons being rushed to the court on frivolous and vexatious charges when the same incident had resulted in the death of person or two. Great effort was expended to distill these charges and identify persons against whom evidence could be produced for the deaths recorded during these elections, with evidence to sustain criminal charges being preferred against them. Through careful review of police dockets, on-site inspections, and stakeholders' interview, the Special Investigative Task Force identified 12 specific cases. I must be quick to add that I have since directed that the report of the Commission on the Election Violence at Ayawaso West Wuogon be implemented fully for justice to prevail.
Tiafa no ntin semwe ana Interior Minister Odmonyan for Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak wode abetudwa no PKFM TV enso yedi bi abesomo yegina ne nsem so na etwa ye ho akwaje abo afon krato abaye ba nsem no yebeto aso ede amawo.
By just so new yanum a shaya ain't use fuel. When so yansesa oil, near any key. A shaya gumechina, a ye lip moto, Giomi, Anase Nami, a yemu bia, was Sabeka wa KFM Limited, a wa Ghana ha, lip moto, a bear for cancer be yanum, and where Dennis Hanso effect, wash interiors here. Can't hear me, Timothy, and you're trying to lip motor. I want 3 modes of driving. Obey me a switch it, so open 10 more, obey in the sports mode. So person will save you battery, obey me is economy mode. That's a woman pen them now with normal riding so you're trying to standard. What charge your battery within 6 hours? I bet to me do a kokumasiaba. Measure air 310 kilometers. Into one how. Obey to me so the 3 hours fast charger. I charge and I'm you fool. Bonama, no wako kumasiaba. Say no. Me try the akano. Giomi. Ni awon key. Make sure the key in bell. Wow, what's just in the interior on it here now? Black and white, papa. So no FSN. Why screen 10? A bomb on cano, battery aka. Number who mileage and so also. When so the a 320 kilometers and sana what's our charge? We bet me a charge in 6 hours. Fast charger 3 hours. I bear for a FDA and so. We bet me a driving in 3 modes. A yes standard, sports, and I say economy. So what pen tempt to say me yanum choose sports was it. We bet me to qualify hakokubase. I'm a battery ni be swak because a 320 kilometers. Who charging in 6 hours, we bet me in your full battery. Now when you fast charge and swap 3 hours pet your set. Making sure so okay in the car when you saw walking. We'll be a door and I start. Chili Joby, black and white. makoma swat mansan kawo de yen check the aka no yeah no abefo de ne mu ba ko ni o de awunya no wuki make sure say key ne ben wanya sa wakem wheel no f let na ewo mu no so dance eye gray no yo ma hodo mi no de ni hakakra ene de mu odu esan so was screens mi no wey e ma information awunya wo ka ne hu nyina as e besia bonum papa your friend entertainment de awuhia no ane e bes wo betumi so driving in 3 modes just like the others standard and I say sports so open tema car way so e betumi to kwaya kokumasi aba 330 kilometers Ichema udu kra betumi jesi so no abonyum kakra ansa na edu wo charge ne 6 hours no so betumi so charge no 3 hours if no fast charge eyinu mu nyina KFM Limited ene de abetwa so fraying ne me sanka wo de ententem so open installment a high purchase and twentwen wo na ase we've got you solid Yanume, on sabetumi aka fidie mu bia e wo KFM Limited. On sabeke fidie no na wotua no nkakra we unya no bebia age KFM Limited. Fraying ever sort out.
Yo, I'm for ene ye mama kwaba e de ba e KFM musical shop. The Tosumi no, who free a Kumasi Malcolm that dam hono, a sunny a day ba a dumuno, Sabra no Udu a Sambra Junction, Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. Now shop no any Sambra Hotel, and the Dinsha anymore. Would the free Sambra Hotel, a wool sunny a deco, Nankane and Hagan hono, Anne, a ho and a KFM musical shop. Ye Tosumi no, ye be no fofro. Now the air can say, if you papa a timiche. The Odia sorry, the Odi Gro Agro Ahudo. Juma de Bia Woody open here a young fiddy musical instrument piano, a KFM into a sea. Ghana Muntie Asante Mai Muntie, a KFM musical shop. Anna Sabre Yabian from Monochai. A war Premper the 2nd Street. Ufri old man come down and now sunny Ediko Edumno. Ane Udu Sambra Hotel Quantana so. Na wa dane on Sunny Faso. Oho anas KFM musical shop yi ewo. Yani Sambra Hotel ana ewe animo. Ye twa abrebia.
Jina me say be ya proud ana se me ye twa. Me free. Kumasi ya du KFM instrument store. Obi bisa sa se bomen fo dia what to know when you see that what in my papa ejina wanim na what to say yes what to know bibi aka wakoma ni nyina free KFM instrument store Kumasi Adum so mi jina ho na me to no ma bi tibi ya ho me ka fi say fi papa mu anim na mi jina no wo be try ye ko ma ya do se kana twa nanka kana u ensamfu ayi
Ebusianfo egusu ama mu ina akwaba eda mo asesa no pe mu guso etimo TV no ho amhwe no so pe mu kase wo KFM TV ne so mekoso ekai wo sa no pensem no etwago ewe abe fontentam fidie ne so Facebook any YouTube KFM TV gh eno so betimi ahwe bi na wa share na wa like na wa dwentwe no udi egu ase ama me kama meto ansem ne so ede ama odi a eye egusu a ewo abato onsensem no eso ne no enam so Interior Minister wasan ede abetudwa wo chim se wo 2020 abato a yeto ye wo my Ghana no kopie mu ewo dododi odi a eye samentemi ho asibi esi wo kwa wo chese eno enam so manipa mienu de wo moto ananan ewo nsiedo na eye report na se investigation report no eno na abetudwa wo chese emra basbasa yesi ye no nipa mienu de wo moto ananan ewo nsiedo no eye ahwusem ye papa na nipa wo mu edi sanya amransem no mu chese wo mu hu omo sese ade na nipa miensa ana wo mu ye suspect asese ade wo mu ehwese mra no ebetimi eni wo mu di no senia ese efata.
Region. The observation of the task force Special Task Force is that investigations into the incident failed to identify the person who shot and killed the deceased, Richard to and Emmanuel Dompre. However, 3 identified persons by police as those who fired shot into the crowd and injuring them were charged with the offenses of conspiracy to commit murder, contrary to the Section 23(1) and 47 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29, and attempted murder, contrary to Section 48 of the same Act. They have been committed and are standing trial at the High Court, Criminal Court 1, Accra. The recommendation of the task force is that the task force recommends monetary compensation to the families of the deceased. The injured must abide by the judgment of the court in the trial, after which compensation, if any, may be determined. So the actions that we've taken so far on this is that same report has been forwarded to the Attorney General for the workout of compensation to the deceased family. The docket is also at the cold case units, since we've not been able to actually get those who fired the shot that killed the 2 citizens.
Ebusiafo wasan edit to job yema watch him say eye ukopiem e watachima na womo che say eye shooting incident bia enu sie ye wa abato no no se sia the evidence a womonsa kan no insio brane etimi abese sa evidence na omuguso omo hwe nhwehwemu say womonsa ebetimi asan aso eye nkrata ebetimi approve no womonsa ebetimi aso interior minister wono and osan dey same way etu edwa
Techima South, that's Techima South constituency in Techima. The observation of the task force are as follows: that the injury could have been avoided had the security personnel not resorted to the use of live ammunition for crowd control. The use of firearms by security personnel was not done under the command of a senior officer who could have ensured that appropriate rules of engagement were observed. Security personnel, especially the police patrol teams at the collation center, fired indiscriminately, and in some cases they directed fire at the escaping crowd. Spent shells could not be retrieved from the scene, as in the case of the Techiman. Immediately the day after the election, it rained heavily, and so they couldn't pick much from the scene, and no bullets or projectiles were retrieved from the bodies of the deceased to assist ballistic examination to identify which weapon caused the injuries or death. It made it difficult to bring finality as to who actually caused the injury and death for now. However, investigation will continue until justice is done. The recommendation from the task force was that the crowd control response of security personnel by resorting to firing of live arms and also directing fire at the escaping crowd is not acceptable. The victims of the gunshots have suffered injuries that cause them pain, loss of resources for treatment, as well as income. Families have also lost breadwinners. The state should take steps to the state should take up the responsibility to compensate the families who lost their breadwinners, as well as those who suffered injuries. Police should receive orientation and desist from using lethal force in crowd control situation. Appropriate crowd control gear should be provided to security services. Party executives, officials, and persons involved in election management should be well educated on the provision of the Anti-Vigilante Act 2019, Act 999. Action taken so far on the Techiman. The report has been forwarded to the Attorney General for the compensation to be given to the families of the deceased and the injured. Docket of the case is also referred to the cold case unit of the CID police, meaning that the investigation will continue further until we are able to find the actual perpetrators.
Adeshiman Benuntin same way an interior minister on Monyan for Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak wadi abetuja KFM TV and CADB as somewhere a one or some pemo Cassian. So yet once I'm so the amount there and drada a Yankee town dia a course a local government a year more orientation a course on crime and no a year ministers MDCs any MMD a year penny for 8 me a copium or Jumedi national and a branch bakwa wɔn ɛsusu sɛ wɔyɛ NPP footso gya baako nso ɔyɛ ne ho te sɛ blogger okopie mu adwumadie n'ase a ɛnde ɛwɔ otwa bia ne sɛ otwa bi no wɔn ho sɛ ɛyɛ marijuana ɛhyɛ ne ho asɛsi ade mpanimfoɔ twɛ mu sɛ nsa etimi asɔ ne mu.
Open the thing well. Open your hand before I slap you. Open your hand before I slap you. Open them well. MPP, you're the one. Hey, record the regional minister. What money to lay here?
Never squeeze your tight here. How can you access to go inside?
What did he do? He one MPP. I'm a strong member. Where he enter our meeting, where our ministers, we have ministers here, MCs here, having a meeting, he entered and then making a video of regional minister to send out. So we got him arrested and then brought him here.
What did he do?
He's holding weed and then some other items.
Holding plans.
Building plans.
This is what they carry into their place. This is what they carry into the auditorium.
As if it's part of what they are doing and taking our stories out.
These are the things you brought into the program.
It's going
Oh.
Somebody sending you. So what are you doing here? Huh? What are you doing here? Nobody send you. Don't worry. If you reach there, let's go. Send you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey, now go look about. Look at my wait. This guy. If you see the guy.
Oh wait. We ask him something. We want to ask you something. Senior. I beg.
See, I don't know the name. Different names. But the faces are not the same. The same? Different faces. Different faces.
But the names are different. It's not the same name.
Then the face blood different.
So how did you get him arrested? What happened?
So what happened is that one of our guys inside knows him very well. And he has recorded videos and insulting our president, that's President Mahama, on social media and other things. So when he saw him, he came to report to us and we went to pick him out, interrogated him, and got to know that he's just in to blackmail us and take pictures and video and go and send it out.
I'm actually confused if he's taking videos. What is he using them for?
Yes. We don't know. To that matter, we don't know because we don't know even how he managed to know that there's a program going on here with the regional ministers, the MMDCs and folks.
Social media, so he registered. He registered on social media.
But when I asked him, he should show me the page. He couldn't find the page. When he opened the phones and scroll, he couldn't find the page. And he said that, he can't find it again. It means he was lying. He might heard it from somewhere, and then he came in to do whatever he wanted to do.
Ebusiafo anu nti wei ana course e Kramantam Haimra MMDC and local government mpanifo hwemu a abrante enso ekopie mu ewo ho ye to ansem so de amamo anopedia fire officers ahodo a wo mu ewo asante achim central police command enso de abetujo mo cheze sesi ade wo mo hye aban ni mpanifo se wo mu ntimi hwe na wo mo AC post crash emergency centers ahodo ewo asante mantem se na be betimi abo mo ma bibia no mo so wo meduma no etimi aba from na akohia bebre no ano etimi abrase.
For the establishment of a post-crash emergency response center as well, because we find ourselves in a jurisdiction where it sometimes even happens that all the ambulances serving our district are broken down. We serve 4 different districts, and it gets to a point where only one ambulance will be serving all these districts. fire service attends to these emergencies, and without the presence of an ambulance, we end up handing over victims to strange vehicles and then other persons volunteering to want to transport these victims to the hospital. What it does is that it ends up sometimes or oftentimes aggravating the condition of these victims that we are meting out care to. So there is a need to establish a post-crash emergency response center which comes along with its own fire station, its own ambulance department, and boasts of rapid intervention vehicles and other equipment and logistics that can help enhance our job of rescuing lives of the Accra-Kumasi highway.
Ebusiafo eno ntin semwe and fire officer wono so wode abetuja yenso ye bi asomo ewo kase ne so ye to ansem ne so dia ma ode aye wo chema huntumi semi so na ndrada ana ne lawyer wo mkopie mu ewo court mra court ebe wiye ana lawyer Andy Apiakobi wono so wode nsem bi etudwa eno ye de mu nsem ye de ebe wa fa attorney general hu semwe ana lawyer Andy Apiakobi wode abetu eja.
No, we have just been served with the notice of withdrawal of the fourth accused persons.
Yes.
So they have come under the rules of court, so they have every right to do so. We are going to prepare our case when they are ready. It doesn't change our position. We are not guilty. We will come to prosecute the case religiously to the best of our professional expertise. Indeed, I always sound this warning that we should be careful not to attempt to influence decisions of court. Attorney General is also Minister for Justice, and his role as Minister of Justice is even more important than his role as the Attorney General and government prosecutor, because the justice of the moment is so important to every one of us as citizens of the country, because our emblem is freedom and justice. So if Attorney General, with all the materials available to him, all the resources available to him, including him being human personnel, if it is just for him to only rely on a former accused person to prosecute a matter against one of the accused persons or some of the accused persons, and he thinks that justice may not be undermined, that is his decision. I would have thought that his role as Minister of Justice would have persuaded him at all times to be careful that the freedom and the justice of the moment is served also on all the accused persons until they are proven guilty. But the way that the Attorney General appears to be poaching his own accused persons suggests that there is intent to undermine the cause of justice. We will resist your princess rule. Thank you.
Ebusiafo nsem we ana lawyer Andy Apiakobi wode abetuja yensi edi mu nsem ye de ebeso migina so na madane me ho sema ba me de nsem no ekọ edwadi emu.
Medogbena mi Ghana duko do ajaple ho duko kata. Mi echo nyanyi adevena mi cho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajadopa. Mi wona susu savings, adishare, school buafo, cashback, ple bubua okata. Nenyebe egajom de mi agbo la letie tomegbeko atehun aho gadodo. Kenenyebe egajom vivi la nenyebe o gahia ola atenwava ava de ogai kene hia fa.
Tanenyebe mi foncho mi afa jomu yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church finance elemiashi, salary loan eleniashi eye bubo li kenye personal loan nenye be poncho business loan enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao nenye be washigba keke alum eleswe we have talent mi pekpegede nwo nenye washigba leswe ne woge wo kekegede ji to talent pomonu ome nenye be mi poncho mi ape salary loan enye gado mo ikemie vuna mi ape jirudu dollar nke ga nyu heya va talent wo pay slip pay bank statement ye kwenye nwi here na koko ho salary loan le rate nwe to keke akeji church financier personal loan va na nye habobo ma soli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe keke ake nye flegeno na no hem v choji nto jinwade vare kwereka mo nkpokpo kai ganyu heya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado monwa anobo buenami akpenami
etibe ya nyafi ke talent la
talent microfinance jengo amegan shpe ape letina tejibo hotame
mi ape kapomo enya 050-129-1298 alo 050-128-9119 talent oga kwamanu banta
Busia for Yegusa Emma Kwaba Edama Sisano Pemugusu etmu TV no ha motion no so pemu kase na medensem no eko edwadie emudia eye Bank of Ghana ndj wo mode abetudwa wo mode kokobo eko ediama online sys mobile loan application ana digital credit providers ahodra wo mo ewo my Ghana han na mo twese enmanimu ya wo mo enhwe man hyehyeye ene noma bia wo betimi edi egu kwan no wo mo fengu kwan mo enfa mom ne no eyade bia ebetimi abwama bibia no Ghana yesikasem etimi ejina ne nan so ye papa mo chem se wo November busuye mu wo mo ahyase a wo mo ejije application letters ahodra eno ebetimi abwa momo so wo metimi ene wo mo abeye ejuma no tin same way ana Bank of Ghana penny for enso edi abetudwa migina so na madane me ho sima ba me ba me den sem no eko edwadie emu Medewo ekwa nijedi ensemu dia eye high life artist a wono so eba ne nyomto ewo my Ghana ha wo bone homodin ewom eye ofori amponsa na wabekasa wo chim sensem keka ekoso ewo my Ghana ha efri eye Fred chei mensa adodo na friend se Fredima no watch sensem keka ekoso se wono ano introduce ne edema the late Daddy Lumba no watch sensem no kwabia enim eno nti utibia na wabo atu ego enye Fredima no wode no eche Daddy Lumba no ankasa mbodimbo eni neni odin emana emanu kwhia Daddy Lumba eno nti sansem ni nia no kwabia enim eno nti utibia na wabo atu ego esanse ono ankasa sesia no woni eye Fred chei mensa enyankita hode a womo ebehwe na sansem no womo aso ano ewo my Ghana eno nti sansem ni nia no kwabia enim ensem we anano pay ofori amponsa a woye high life musician ewo my Ghana hano wono so wode abetudwa KFM TV enso yedi bi abesomo wono so pemo kase no eso megina so na media ni gede ensem ene anopa no so pemo kase no medini nia aba na wie yensem no na edoso ye papa na no pay de di mu akotini ebiene se Speaker of Parliament Honorable Kingsford Alban Sumana Bagbin wode ensem bi ebetudwa edi mu ensem anope yede ebesomo wosa eye chairman untumi ni lawyer a ye friend say Andy Apiakobi wodo so ebekasa edifa chairman untumi ensemi ho a yedomu esuko edemo yedegede ensem enso eka ho edemo Bank of Ghana penny for enso echiemu say eye online sales mobile loan apps ahodwa ewo my Ghana han wo mo hwe na wo ni penny for embenya nkita ho de anyesa wo mbehwe na wo mo ejuma no wo mo eguno ewo my Ghana han no so yedomu esuko edemo yede ni gede ensem enso eka ho edema oforian ponsa no pay wono so ede nsem bi ebetu edwa ebusuafo we ne nsem ne afoforo pi ano pay yebo ano a yede ebeso bo se no super mo kase wo KFM TV no eso na anope dwumekuo bi adaroma no mo bo mechi do ma mede nsem no mede ebeso mo KFM Musical Center dada batek habana talent microfinance wo mo ano mo so ma cinema mede nsemi mede ebro okay kai fa no pay o temi nka no edi ameje so eni Maame Esi Nkrumah yakra mu na